All right. So today is the fourth of 7 sessions of the data analysis workshop. Okay. So we're going to take a brief recap and then we're going to continue where we left off. Okay. So a brief recap and then we're going to continue where we left off. All right. So just as a recap, on day one, we determined the appropriate statistical test for our study. So first, we had 3 research questions, right? And then we determined what kind of research questions they were, all right? And then after we determined that 2 of the research questions were relationship prediction questions, and the third was a difference question, the next thing we did is we wrote the null hypotheses for each of the research questions. That was step 2 in phase 1. Okay. And if you remember, there are 4 phases: statistical test selection, data preparation, preliminary analysis, and primary analysis. So on day 1, we completed statistical test selection. Now, and then the third step on day 1 was to identify the independent and dependent variables. Now, there are pre-workshop trainings that cover all of the fundamentals that you need to know to analyze your data. So what is an independent variable? What is a dependent variable? All those things are covered in the pre-workshop training. And I'm also going to put the pre-workshop videos on my new YouTube channel as well. So when I send out the email today to the people with the replays, I'm also going to attach a link to the pre-workshop video. All right. So that was step 3. Step 4 was where we identified the levels of measurement of each of the variables, whether they were continuous, either nominal or ordinal variables, or I'm sorry, whether they were categorical, nominal or ordinal variables, or whether they were continuous, interval or ratio variables, right? And we said anytime you have a survey scale, that's going to be interval, and if it has at least 4 choice options, all right? So then after we identified the levels of measurement, then what we did is we went through process of elimination to select the appropriate test. So for the difference question, we went through all of these specific tests and we came up with the one-way ANOVA. And then for the relationship questions, we came up with the bivariate correlation and the regression, I believe it was, multiple regression. Okay, so that's what we did on day 1. All right. Then on day 2 and day 3, we started with the data preparation phase, which is phase 2, where we went through the data using frequencies to determine which respondents had missing data. And the process is to look through the data and see which variables have the most missing values that are not conditional questions. And remember, conditional questions are questions that only some people receive. So cigarettes smoked per week was a conditional question because only people who smoke cigarettes got that question. Now, so that was excluded. We didn't do anything. So then we went to sources of stress. It had 17 missing. We went back to the questionnaire to see if we could correct the missing values. We couldn't, so we deleted them. Did the same thing for perceived stress. We deleted 5. Smoker, we deleted 2. Child, we deleted 1. Then after we looked at the missing, we went through all of these specific variables to see if there were any errors in the code. So in other words, if a question is supposed to have a range of 1 to 4, and there was a 5 or a 0 or some other invalid number, we had to go in and check that, right? So essentially what we did is we saw that mastery question 2, someone had written down a 5 on a 1 to 4 scale. So we went back to the original source, tried to fix it, couldn't fix it, so we deleted that person. All right. So that's what we did on day 2 and 3. Then on day 3, we went through and we did reverse coding, right? So we saw in our code book that certain questions require reverse coding because the way that they were scored, the questions were probably negative, right? They were negative questions, whereas all the other questions were positive, where high scores represent something positive, low scores represent something negative. So in order to align these questions with all the other questions, we had to reverse code them. So what we did, so for optimism, it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we changed questions 2, 4, and 6 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For mastery, another 1, 2, 3, 4. And we changed it to 4, 3, 2, 1, and we checked it, right? So what we did is we reverse coded, and then we ran a cross tab, right? You'll be able to see that in video 3. We ran a cross tab to see if the old number 1 lines up with the new number 5. All right. And then that's how we checked it. So anytime you do a reverse coding or recode or something like that, you always want to check it. All right. So that's where we ended up yesterday. Now, what we have to do, okay, today is we're going to continue with step 4. And step 4 is we're going to compute mean or total scores. So anytime you have an instrument, right? So for example, we have optimism scale, mastery scale, life satisfaction scale, and perceived stress scale. At some point, you either have to add up all the questions so that each person gets a total scale score, either a mean score or a total score. Okay. And then we will be able to perform the analysis. So the code book tells us what we need to do, right? And the instructions of the instrument will actually tell you what you need to do. So whenever you're using a scaled instrument, you use the literature or the instructions to tell you whether it needs to be a total score where all the scores are summed together, or whether you can calculate a mean. All right. Now, before we do that, does anyone have any questions about anything up to this point? If you have a question, type in a Q If you don't have a question, type in an N. Okay. Okay. All right. So no one has any, looks like no one has any questions. All right. So what are we going to do next? So according to this, compute new variables. So we have to compute a total optimism scale, total mastery, total life satisfaction, and total perceived stress. And then what we have to do is we have to compute age groups from age. So these are the original variables right here. Let me just make this bigger. These are the original variables in the first column. These are the instructions. And then this is what we're going to have after we do the coding. Okay? All right. So now, so the first thing we're going to focus on is total optimism. It says add all scores OP1 to OP6 composite. The range of scores will be 6 through 30. And the reason why it's going to be 6 through 30 is because the lowest score you can get is a 1. And the highest score you can get is a 5, right? And we get that from optimism. The scale is 1 to 5. Okay. So if you have 6 questions and some person answers all ones for all 6, the lowest score they can get is a 6. If someone has a 5 on all 6 questions, then 5 times 6 is 30, and that's how you get the range. So that's the ceiling and the floor. If that makes sense, type in a 1. If that doesn't make sense, type in a 0. Excellent. All right. So here's how we're going to do that. Now, we have to be mindful. So we go to transform. Where am I? Transform, recode into, well, actually, we're going to do compute, right? So now what we're doing, so when we recode, when we switch variables, we use recode. But when we're computing brand new variables, right, we're going to use the compute procedure. So we're going to go compute, and then we're going to say total optimism. So we're going to call this tot optimism. Tot underscore OPT. Okay. Total optimism. All right. And then we're going to say it's telling us that, look, we're going to add up everything from OP1 to OP6. Now, remember, we did recoding, reverse coding on OP2, 4, and 6. So we're going to do sum OP1. We're not going to say OP2 because remember we reverse coded OP2, so we're going to say OP2 reverse. So comma, OP2 reverse, comma, then we're going to go OP3, right? And instead of OP4, we're no longer using OP4 because we had to reverse code OP4, so we're going to use OP4 reverse. So it's going to be OP3, comma, OP4 reverse, comma, OP5, comma, and then again, we used OP6 reverse. So then we're going to go down and we're going to take OP6. And then we're going to close parentheses. All right. Do you understand? Do you understand why we use OP2 reverse, OP4 reverse, and OP6 reverse instead of OP2, OP4, and OP6? Okay. We changed those, right? Those were the original values, but we updated them because we reverse coded. So they're no longer the ones we want to use. That's why we use the reverse coded ones. If that makes sense, if that makes sense. So yesterday, right? Let's go back. We had to recode questions 2, 4, and 6. So what we had to do is we had to reverse code them, right? If remember, we went and we reverse coded 2, 4, and 6, right? So the new codes were OP, oops, OP, OP2 underscore reverse, OP4 underscore reverse, and OP6 underscore reverse. And the original codes were OP2, OP4, and OP6, right? So the we replaced, when we reverse coded, we now have to use OP2 reverse, OP4 reverse, and OP6 reverse. Okay? Does that make sense? If that makes sense, type in a Y. If it doesn't make sense, type in an N. Okay, great, great, excellent. Okay. Now, as always, what we're going to do is we're going to actually paste this into our syntax, right? So we go to our syntax and we're going to always have our little notes. Reverse code number 2, da 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 da. Number 2. Right, cross, and this is reverse code check number 2. All right, now, so then what we're going to have here is we're going to leave a note for ourselves, and this note is going to say compute total scores for optimism. All right, so we're going to compute total scores for optimism. We're going to highlight this and we're going to run it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if it's run. So what do? We go to analyze descriptives, frequencies, and then we go all the way to the bottom and see total optimism and make sure that everyone has a total optimism score. So we're going to say check compute total optimism score. So we're going to highlight this and run it. 0 missing. Everyone has a score. So the lowest score was a 7 and the highest score is a 30, and there are no missing. Okay? All right. So now we go on to total mastery. And total mastery has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were reverse coded. So if we go back over here, so MAST1, MAST2, MAST oh no, MAST3, MAST4, 6, and 7. 4, MAST6, and MAST7. Right? So then we changed them to, since we had to reverse code them, it became MAST1 underscore reverse, MAST 3 underscore reverse, MAST 4 underscore reverse, MAST 6 underscore reverse, and MAST 7 underscore reverse. Okay. So these are the new ones, the new codes that we have to use. All right. So when we go back and we compute, so we go to transform compute, and now we're going to say mastery total underscore mastery, right? We go sum, and then we go down to mastery. So we go mastery 1, and let's see. Oops, no, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. So mastery 1 is actually mastery 1 reverse. Mastery, comma, then it's masked 2, comma, then it's masked 3 reverse, comma, masked 3 reverse 4, comma, and then 5 masked 5, comma, and then go down 6 masked 6 reverse, comma, and masked 7. And then we click paste. Uh-oh. Oh, I have to put a closed parentheses. Okay. And then we click paste. And then so we're going to say compute. Compute total self-mastery. And then we're going to run a check, right? So we're going to highlight this and we're going to run it. Okay. And then we're going to check it to make sure that it ran properly and that there are no missing values. Each respondent should have self-mastery. And we always have these little notes in our syntax file so that we know what everything means, when we did it, and so on and so forth. And what I like to do is sometimes I actually like to put in the date. So I'm going to right? Okay. All right. So we've got 413 valid. So the highest score is a 28. The lowest score is a 9. And the range is from 7 to 28. So that is a valid range. All right. So all of these numbers are valid because they fall within the valid range. Okay. If what I'm making, if what I'm doing is making sense, type in a 1. If this makes sense compared to what this is, type in a 1. If it doesn't make sense, type in a 0. Okay, great. All right. Now, the next one we have to compute is total life satisfaction. Total life satisfaction did not have any reverse codes. Didn't have any reverse codes. So all we have to do is go to compute. I'm going to reset this. We're going to call it total underscore life SAT. And then just to show you where it is, it's a sum. Right? So what you do is you put in the variables between where the question marks are. So life satisfaction. So life satisfaction. You have to delete the question marks though. So life satisfaction, comma, life satisfaction 2, comma, life satisfaction 3, comma, life satisfaction 4, comma, life satisfaction 5, comma. All right. Now, so you click paste. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut. I'm going to show you a shortcut. If your variables are sequential and they're side by side like this, what you can do is instead of writing each one, you can do it like this. Life satisfaction 1, 2, life satisfaction 5. And what you're telling SPSS is, hey, these are all in sequential order. They're right next to each other. So I can shorten the code. But you can't do that if you reverse code and they're not in order. Okay? You can't do that. All right. So I just wanted to show you that. So these two things are the same. Life satisfaction 1, life satisfaction 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically what SPS is saying is we're going to sum all of these together and compute a total. And the second one is saying the same thing. We're going to sum all the variables between life satisfaction 1 and life satisfaction 5, right? All the variables between life satisfaction 1 and life satisfaction 5 are going to be summed. They're saying the exact same thing, okay? If that makes sense, type in a Y. If it doesn't make sense, type in an N. But they have to be in sequential order, meaning they have to follow one another. So if they say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3 is here, and then 4, then there's another variable in 4, 5, it's not going to work because it's going to take only the variables between that range. All right. So we can select either one. All right. So now we've done that, and we're going to put in compute total scores for life satisfaction. All right. And now we're going to do the check, descriptives, frequencies, reset, total life satisfaction. What we're looking for is to make sure, number one, there are no missing values and that the scores are within the valid range. So we're going to click paste. Life satisfaction. Okay. Highlight this, run it. All right, so there are no missing. And we go back to our code book, and life satisfaction range is from 5 to 35. That is the valid range, from 5 to 35. So the floor is 5, which matches that 5, so that's fine. And the ceiling is 35. So these are all valid. So we're good. We're good. All right, so now let's go back here. So new variable name. Okay. So the new variable name, we called it, let's go here. So the new variable name was total opt. And then the new variable name was total mastery. And then the new variable name for the other one was um, total life satisfaction. And the variables we use are there. These are the variables that we use for this. These were the variables we use for this. Coding instructions, we're just going to say summed valid, excuse me, summed valid uh, summed all 6 variables to obtain total. Or what we could just say is you could just do that if you want to. All right. And then total mastery. Now let's do it in plain English. All 6 variables to obtain total, sum all 7 variables to obtain total. Did we check the accuracy? Yes, right? We checked the accuracy and we confirmed the accuracy, right? Because we confirmed the accuracy by looking at the frequency and then looking to see if there were any missing. And then we also checked the accuracy by looking at the range. So that one was confirmed as well. Life satisfaction summed five all 5 variables to obtain total. Accuracy confirmed, yes. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to perceive stress. All right, so we go to perceive stress, and we're going to compute perceived stress, right? So total, let's reset, tot underscore PRC, and then stress. And then we're going to do some parentheses. And then let's see, we recoded, let's see, 4, 7, 4, and 7. Let's just make sure. Look in the file. Oh, did we do anything for perceived stress? Oh, we didn't recode it. So we have to do that. So we have to reverse code 4, 5, 7, and 8. Let me go back to our. Oh, we didn't do that. We didn't finish that one from yesterday. So let's go and do that. 4, 5, 7, and 8. So we're going to transform, recode into different variable. We're going to go to 4, 5, 7, and 8. And it's going to be PSS4 underscore reverse. And we're doing this because we forgot to do this yesterday. PSS5 underscore reverse. PSS7 underscore reverse. And then PSS8 underscore reverse. Okay? Now, that's why you always want to have a code book before you analyze your data. And the code book basically tells you all the things you need to do. Okay? This is all the stuff that you need to do. All right? So the code book, so let me just explain this. So your code book has your sample demographic questions, and then it has all of your survey questions and how they're coded. Okay? Now, I didn't want to have all that in here, so I just had the most essential things. The demographic questions, and then the specific variables and their names. So you have all the variables that are in your data file are in your code book. Okay. So let me just go through here. So we've got a data view and we've got a variable view. Okay. So if we look at the variable view, we've got ID. You've got ID. So you got ID, then you got ID. You've got sex, then you got sex. You've got age, and it tells you how it's measured. The variable name, ID. The full name of the variable name in the data file, and how it's coded. So this is just a subject identification number. This is what the ID is. Sex, 1 is males, 2 and females. Age, it's just the number of respondents in years. the age of respondents in years. All right. Then we got marital status, where 1 is single, 2 is steady, 3 is living with partner, 4 is married, and so on and so forth. Then you got child or children, and the name of the variable is child. Okay, this is the data view, this is the variable view. Okay. And it's 1 is yes, 2 is no. Highest level of education, EDUC. And then here's the codes. Here's what the numbers stand for, EDUC. You click on that and it has the codes and it matches this. Okay. This little button right here. Major source of stress. It's called source. Work, spouse, so on and so forth. Do you smoke? Right? Cigarette smoke, smoke numb. And then you've got the different optimism scales. Op 1 through 6. Op 1 through 6. Then mastery. Mastery 1 through 7. And then you've got life satisfaction 1 through 5. Perceived stress 1 through 10. Okay? All right. So let's go back. Did we finish the compute? No. So then we've got to go back and we've got to compute. Let's see. All right, so compute. Okay, so now we have to determine, okay, so what is it saying? Perceived stress needs to be what? Reverse items 4, 5, 7, and 8. So now we have to go here and say 1 to 5. So the scale goes from 1 to 5. So that means if it's a 1, the old value, then the new value is a 5. If it's a 2, then the new value is a 4. If it's a 3, then the new value is a 3. If it's a 4, then the new value is a 2. If it's a 5, then the new value is a 1. You see how I did that? Just like we did it yesterday. Okay. If this is making sense, type in a 1. If it's not making sense, what I'm doing, type in a 0. We forgot to do this yesterday. That's why we're doing it now. Because we can't compute a total perceived stress until we reverse code these questions. All right. So reverse coded questions 4, 5, 4, 5, 7, and 8. Four, 5, 7, and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now we have to check it, right? So once we run it, we're going to check it. And we check it by doing the cross tab. So PS4, and then this one. We're going to click paste. And then we're going to do 5. Because we have to do them one at a time, right? Remember? Because we try to do them all at once before. And then it compared them all, and we didn't want to do that. and then 7, cross tab, and then 8. All right. So we're going to check the first one. So okay. So 2 equals 4. That's fine. So the original is 2. And uh so let me just draw this out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the new one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 2 to 4, that's good. 3 to 3, that's good. 4 to 2, that's good. And 5 to 1, that's good. Okay, so this one checks. So now we go and run the second one. So 1 to 5, 2 to 4, 3 to 3, 4 to 2, and 5 to 1. So this one checks. Okay. So then we go check the last one, the last 2, 1 to 5, 2 to 4, 3 to 3, 4 to 2, 5 to 1. 1 to 4, 2 to 4, no, let's see, 1 to 5, 2 to 4, 3 to 3, 4 to 2, 5 to 1. All right, so they all check. All right, so let's all right, so we're gonna type yes here, and it was 4, 5, and 7. We won't bother with that right now. Mastery, MAST. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go and compute total perceived stress. All right. All right. So we've got recode 4, 5, 7, and 8. So we need to up this recode should be REV 4, 5, 7, and 8. All right. 2, 3, PSS 4, 5, reverse, and then go back to 6, and then reverse code 7, and then reverse code 8. Click paste. So I write all the notes down because if I'm going through this, I'm like, well, why did I do this here? I put all kinds of notes in my syntax so I can understand what's going on. Compute perceived stress. Okay, highlight this. All right, and then we're going to check it. Perceived stress. Highlight this and then run it. And what we're checking for is to make sure there are none missing and that it's within the range. So perceived stress has a valid range of 10 to 50. Okay, so there's one with a 9. So we got to go back and figure out what happened here, right? Because if we have 10 and the lowest score you can get is a 1, there shouldn't be a 9. So now let's go back and see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm missing some. That's why. I'm missing 8, 9, and 10. Okay, that would explain it. So I didn't put 9 and I didn't put 10. All right, so that's why you always want to check. Sum total should be up to 10. That is correct, Elvira. You are correct. You caught that before I did. Very good. All right, so that's why we always check it. So we're going to run it again. And we're going to check it again. Now it's valid, 12 to 44. So great catch. Great catch. That's why you always want to check this. This cleaning your data, phase 2, which is data preparation. It is the most tedious part of the data analysis process. However, you got to take your time. You got to do it right, because if you mess up here, everything else you do is going to be wrong. That's why you have to take your time and be very meticulous with phase 2, data preparation. If that makes sense, type in a Y. If it doesn't make sense, type in an N. And here's the irony. They don't teach you this in school. All they do is teach you how to run the statistical test. They don't teach you how to make sure that the numbers are right. And that's why I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I need to teach a class on how to analyze the data from start to finish. All they do is they just help you analyze the data at the very end. Oh, this is the result. But how do you know all the other stuff is right? You don't. That's why I teach people how to do it this way. Okay, so we got that. So let's see, go back here. So we've got total perceived stress. And we're going to put that there. And we're going to say summed all 10 variables to obtain the total. And then we're going to say yes because we checked it. So when I learned how to analyze data back in the early 90s, I used to work at a market research firm, and they used to have us go through all these steps. But we just had like a regular notebook with like a scratch pad. I mean, I hadn't developed anything like this, which is, very easy to keep track of. It was just scratch pad that we were just writing all our notes in. And then syntax. We use syntax also. So that's that. All right, so let's see where we are. So total perceived stress. All right. So now we're going to start with preliminary analysis, which is phase 3. Okay. Let's put this in a different color. All right. Now, the start of this phase, now that we've cleaned up everything and everything is right, we're going to run descriptive statistics on our data, on the demographic data. Okay. Descriptive statistics. So for continuous variables, we use means and standard deviations. For continuous variables, let me write that down. For continuous variables, we use means and standard deviations. For categorical variables, we use percentages. Okay. So we use n, means and standard deviations, and here we use n and percentages. All of them are always going to, you're always going to have the n for each one. Okay. You're always going to have the n for each one. Age group, great question. Oh, yes, age group. Yes, we need to do that. So let's go back really quick. Okay, so age group needs to be AGEGPG. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable from age. These are just the ages. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a categorical variable from this continuous variable. Thank you very much, Mr. Olu. So here's how we do this. We're going to go to recode into different variable, right? So instead of doing a recode, a reverse code, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go age, and then we're going to call it AGEGP3, age group 3. All right. And then what we're going to say is we're going to say, hey, anything from 18 to 29 is going to be a 1. Let me just 18. So we're going to say range 18 to 29 is going to be a 1. Then we're going to say 30 to 44 is going to be a 2. And then we're going to say 45 and higher is going to be a 3. Okay? Then we're going to click paste. All right. So compute age group 3 from age. Okay? So we're going to highlight this and run it. And then we're going to check it. So again, we're going to do a cross tab. So we're going to do cross tab. And we want age to go down, the age group to be the columns, because you always want your smallest group to be in the columns. So because you want it to go across the top. So age group is going across the top and age is going down the bottom, down the side.
Not comfortable for me.
We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Um, okay, are there any questions? Does anyone have a question thus far? If you have a question, type in a Q. If you don't have a question, type in an N. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we're entering into phase three. And this is really when, oh, you couldn't hear me for a long time. Okay. So here's what I was saying. We created the age group variable from the continuous variable age. Okay. And what I did is I went to recode into different variable. This is the name of the variable that we created, and these are the values. So the values essentially were, hey, range. If the range of ages is from 18 to 29, we're going to recode this as a 1. If the range was from 30 to 44, we're going to recode this as a 2 in this new variable called age group 3. If the range was 45 and higher, we use this one down here, then we're going to label this a 3. Okay? If that makes sense, type in a 1. If it doesn't make sense, type in a 0. All right. So now that we've done that, here's what we want to do. We're going to go to this file, and where it says values, we're actually going to type in what the values mean. So let me just show you what I did. So under values, right? Whenever you create a new categorical variable, you want to create a value for it so that you know what the values are. So you go to values. We clicked on this little button here. So we're going to type 1 equals 18 to 29. 2 equals 30 to 44. And 3 equals 45 and higher. 45 and up. Okay? Anytime you create a new categorical variable, you want to identify what the categories are. Okay? That's very important. Anytime you create a new categorical variable, you want to identify in this data file what the categories are. If that makes sense, type in a Y. If it doesn't make sense, type in an N. All right. It's 9:13, and I was trying to get to this today, but I want to take my time and do it. So we're going to start phase 3 tomorrow. Okay, so Friday is the 5th day. We're going to start phase 3 tomorrow. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? So if you have a question, type in the queue. If you don't have a question, type in an N. All right. So I just created, some of you may know or may not know, I just created a new YouTube channel called the Dissertation Channel. Okay. And I'm going to be putting up some of my SPSS videos, and I also have dissertation writing workshop videos that I'm going to be posting up. So over the past since 2008, I have 100 data analysis videos. I'm not going to post them all on YouTube. I'm just not going to do that. But I am going to post stuff up there periodically. And so, for example, if people have questions for me, I'm going to answer their questions and then post it up on YouTube. Okay. Um, generally speaking, I'm not going to put people's private data up on YouTube, but if they have a question like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? I'm going to respond and put it up on YouTube. So if you want to be kept abreast, um, of, all the stuff that I'm doing with data analysis, and you want to be, see all the data analysis stuff that I'm putting up there, because I have R videos as well, because this is SPSS, but I'm also going to be doing this workshop with R, because R is free. SPSS is a load of money, but R is free. So I'm going to be doing the same 7-day and 15-day workshop with R next month. So I encourage you to go and register for my YouTube. Hold on, let me get you the link. It's called the Dissertation Channel. Okay. Today is day 3. And I'm also putting the replays up there too. So this is the link. So please, I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it in the chat. So please go there and join my YouTube. I would appreciate it. Because I mean, you need to join anyway, because I'm going to be posting the videos from the workshop up there. Well, not all of them, just some of them. So it's good for you to join. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow, and then we will take a break over the weekend, and then we will start up on Monday. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let me ask this question. I like to take a break over the weekend. Some people don't. What is your position on taking a break over the weekend? Do you like the break over the weekend, or would you want to make the 7 days Monday through Sunday in the future? So break. Okay. I see someone say break Monday through Sunday. Okay. All right. Through Monday through. Okay. Break. Can I talk? Yeah, go ahead. Ahmed, hold on. Let me put you on. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for your very comprehensive and very easy to understand course. I just actually you just told you have more than 100 videos on data visualization, analysis, and these related things like for R, SPSS, or JASP or someone thing. And you told you will not upload it on the YouTube channel. So sorry for asking this. Is it kind of exclusive for just for you, or something else, or any other reason behind that? Because most of the people, especially those who has their videos from many years back, like 2018, 17, or 19, and so they usually post their videos like at least day by day, or maybe every weeks. And for two reasons. The first, they will get audience, subscribers, and these things the first, and then they share their knowledge. So like in this course, you share your knowledge free of charge. except that you charge for workbook or these things. So this is your right that you have charged for this. But once if you teach people like free of charge, so I didn't get the reason why you don't want to post all your videos
That's a
on the
great
YouTube
question.
channel.
The reason why I don't do that is because there was a university in the UK, because I used to share my videos for free, but there was a university in the UK that took my videos and created a course and were charging their students $3,000 to build a course off my videos. So I had to sue them. I had to get an attorney, and they weren't trying to give me any money. So I had to go get an attorney, right? And then it was this whole big thing. It cost me all this money. And the argument that they made is your stuff was for the public domain because you gave it away for free. That's what they said. So if it's on the internet and you're not charging for it, it's public domain and we can take it. It's open use. So that's why I only put some of my videos on YouTube. That's why I'm only going to put some of them, because I'm not going to allow people to steal my stuff and then I got to go get an attorney to get recuperation. The West is funny. The West, living in the West is real funny. So yeah, so that's why I'm going to put some stuff up there, but I'm not going to put like my full courses. I'm not going to do that because I had a full course that I put up and that I on my website, and I had access for free, and people were coming to me and say, "Hey, I got some questions." I'm like, "What do you mean questions?" "Yeah, I see your videos in my class and I have a question." I'm like, "What do you mean your videos are my videos are in your class? What are you talking about?" He said, "Oh yeah, I'm in this class in the UK and da 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 da, and we pay $3,000 per quarter, and I don't even charge people $3,000 to watch my videos." So yeah, I can't give it away for free. I give some things away from free, but there's no way that I'm going to give all my stuff out there and have somebody take it and resell it. The stuff that I have on YouTube, some people steal it now and put it on their own page. So yeah.
Shame on them. Shame on them. Shame on them.
So yes, I will put some things up, but I'm not going to put a class up. I'll put like individual videos.
So that one, did you get any result from that copyright that they, violate the?
This was a big corporation, and they were just prolonging it. And I'm a small guy. I don't have all this money to keep going into court and delaying the process. So they just outspent me. So I just said, you know what? I'll just take the L.
Yes, yes. They because they have lots of money, so they already hire lots of attorneys. So
and they just kept extending.
The attorneys fight for them for all legal and illegal things.
Yeah.
So they don't waste money for yeah.
Yeah. And they kept delaying. They kept delaying the process, and then I'm paying my guys, but their guys are on. I couldn't afford that, so I was like, you know what? I'll just.
I got.
But that's
Sorry
a great.
about that.
That's a great question, though. That's a great question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So much.
You're
Appreciate
it. And Kinsey, go ahead. I'm gonna unmute you too. Hold on one second. Go ahead. Yeah, they will make money off your videos. You're right. Go ahead, Nkese.
Hello? 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 Oh my God. I think no one was hearing me. Hello? Okay. I said.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said that yesterday you sent an email said that we can change our time, that you want to make it a two time, maybe one one around 1 o'clock US time, and one and another one around 5 o'clock, something like that. I saw an email, so I changed my time of lecture maybe around 5 o'clock. But I think I'm just saying that I will maintain that you should overrule that one I took yesterday. I will maintain using the 1 o'clock over here.
Yeah, I was just doing a survey to see
Mhm.
if there were enough people because I had over 105 people sign up for the free workshop. Um, but obviously 105 people don't show up to the 8 o'clock. So I have a
Mm.
lot of people all over the world who registered and they can't come at 8 o'clock. So I was thinking about holding another class at a different time. Um, but it's a little time consuming and enough people didn't say that they wanted it. So I don't know if I'm going to do it. I think I'll just keep doing the replays because I have clients during the day because I do this for a living. I do data analysis and stuff like that. I do this for a living. So
Is it
I,
possible if I have an assignment for me to contact you, like assignment, and I need an explanation?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so if you go to hold on one second. Yeah, so just here, let me just put my email in here. So it's Jacob at spssvideotutor.com. So if you ever need to reach me or you have a question, just use that email and then we can schedule some time. Yeah, if you have an assignment or anything like that. Yeah, I do this for a living. Like I don't work someplace else. I do SPSS and R, data analysis, dissertation consulting, data analysis consulting, research consulting. I do this for a living. I've been doing this for a living since 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
And yes, when I do the R training, I send out an email. That's why people who are part of my list. So now that you've taken this course, you're now part of my list. So whenever I do new trainings, I send out an email and people sign up for the training because it doesn't take long for people to sign up for the training. But yeah, I've taught an art class last year and I'm going to do it again because R is going to be more popular than SPSS because it's free. And all the stuff that I'm covering in SPSS, I do in R, in the R class. All right, any other questions? All right. If not, I am not familiar with R. What exactly is that? So R is another statistical tool, but the problem with R until recently, it was all code, right? So it's another software like SPSS, but it was when it first came out, most people think of R as this, right? But a few years ago, they came out with a Windows version, and not many people know about it. But I teach the Windows version of R. Um, so that's what R Studio. Yes, ma'am. Yes, R Studio. Yes. So I have so I do SPSS and then last year I started teaching R Studio. Yes, R Studio. I love R Studio. Um and it has a lot of different components to it. And what I'm doing is I'm teaching people how to do the same thing. In fact, what I'll do tonight is I'll post maybe a couple of my R videos on the YouTube channel because I have videos where I have R in one window and SPSS, and I show you how to do both analyses in SPSS and in R simultaneously. So if you join my dissertation channel, I'll put some of those. I'm trying to get at least 500 to 1,000 people signed up to the dissertation channel. But yeah, I can put some R stuff. The more people that sign up, it just shows me that people are interested, and I'll put up more videos because I have a whole lot of videos. I mean, I have machine learning and structural equation modeling. I mean, I have a whole host of videos. But anyway, yeah, all kind of videos. Any other questions? Okay. Looks like no. All right, great. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow for day 5, and then we will take a break, and then we will come back on Monday. All right. Thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate it. It lets me know that people appreciate my work. So that's good. Thank you. You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. All right. So again, if you have any questions or you need help with something, just send me an email and we'll arrange something. All right. Great. Have a nice day.